Today, communities are struggling with a variety of challenges that can spark intense discussions and concerns. But by addressing issues such as inequality, access to education, and community support, organizations like Peace Neighborhood Center have had a positive impact. Peace Neighborhood Center has provided a wide range of programs to empower and uplift people in need, serving as a light of hope for countless families and individuals. And at the heart of their effort are passionate leaders and dedicated employees and volunteers who want to make a difference. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson, and today I'm welcoming Bonnie Billups of Peace Neighborhood Center to the show to tell us a little bit about his corner of the world.
Yeah.
So, Bonnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Excellent to have you. So I love the name, Peace Neighborhood Center. Tell us a little bit about how it got started.
Sure. So we've been around since 1971, and how Peace started was back in the late 60s. The city of Ann Arbor had money to build public housing. And so as it started thinking about where it was going to build public housing, it decided it didn't want to put one big site. It wanted to spread it out around the city. And close to where we're located, they put 2 public housing sites.
Okay.
Now there was some fear at that point in time because the majority of people who moved into public housing at that point were black, and the majority of people who lived in the neighborhood were white. It was the far west side of Ann Arbor. As kids started going to school and moms started walking their kids to school, remember it's 1969, 1970, as they walked their children to school, moms started talking with each other. And out of that became this thing called kitchen cabinet, where moms, after they walked their kids to school, would go pull things out of the kitchen cabinet and sit and talk. Out of that became an organized group of mothers who decided that they wanted to do a community center. Our property that we owned was once Peace Lutheran Church. And so the mothers went and others went to a couple of churches that had that property and said, could we start a community center? And at that point, Zion and Trinity Lutheran churches, who were owners of the property, said, yeah, could you keep the word peace in it? And we became Peace Neighborhood Center back in 1971. So that was how we started. And we started with just a few after-school programs for kids back then.
Wow, out of just some movement comes this amazing center that's been there for an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and
that's
I've been there a
exciting.
lot of it. So yeah.
I was going to say, so how did you come to be familiar with it?
So the person who became the executive director in 1976, I had worked with as a teenager, as a preteen. And when she became the director in 1976, she asked if I would come and work at Peace. So I've been involved with Peace since 1976, except for about 8 years that I lived out of state. In some capacity, I've either worked there or been involved. So yeah.
And what's your role there now?
My role is executive director. So I am, with my board of directors, I'm the sort of leader, captain of the ship type thing. Yeah.
What does that look like on a daily basis? An executive director?
Craziness.
No 2 days the same, right?
Yeah, no 2 days are the same. It's always busy. It can be a day of just financial paperwork and planning, or working with a family who's distraught, working with a young person who's struggling. It could be any and everything. Every day is different. Every day is rewarding. Myself and my coworkers come to Peace every day, wanting to be a part of making change in the lives of people.
Well, it's in the name of the center, Peace.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's about, right?
Exactly.
So you mentioned how the center started out of some challenging times.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there's been challenges over the years too. What kind of challenges have you overcome in order to be the thriving community center that it is now? Yeah,
the beautiful thing about Peace is that we change based upon what the community needs, right? Mm-hmm. So if you were around in the 70s, some of us were around in the 70s.
Yeah, I was around
right?
in the 70s, thanks.
I don't believe that.
I
was.
But
in the 70s, when there was the oil embargo and there was a reduction of automobile jobs, right? You had plants closing up. It was about retraining people, and we had a big jobs program. How do you get people who had migrated up here to the north and had been working in auto plants? Some of them couldn't read. A lot of them, of course, most could, but this is the job that they've known. And how do you get people retrained for other jobs? So we had a big jobs program, and we worked in conjunction with other emerging technologies and groups to get people into other jobs. If you looked in the 80s and 90s when we were besieged by crack cocaine, our programs started turning toward how do you help people in recovery, and how do you get people to recovery, and how do you work with young people who are living in households where there's substance abuse and other things happening. So we had a gigantic substance abuse program. We started a breakfast program at one of the public housing sites. We had young people who were going to school hungry every day, and there were fights on the bus, there were fights at school, all of those kind of things. And we figured out that if we fed kids,
they're hungry.
They were hungry.
They're hungry.
So if you fed them and made sure they went to school every day, so we had grannies who lived on the public housing site who started cooking breakfast for kids, and we would fund that program, and then it became a community center on that site. So programs change based upon the needs of the communities, and we try to, all of our programs are prevention and intervention, right? And trying to think ahead, how do we help people find their greatness? How do we help people overcome obstacles and trauma, those kind of things?
I love that phrase you just said, help people find their greatness.
Yeah.
And sometimes it sounds like just being a witness to them where they are at one point is holding the space for them.
Right.
And then helping them figure out what greatness is in them.
Right.
Has that been your experience?
We hold visions of what people can become, not what you are, right? So when you come to some situation, you can be in the biggest amount of despair and pain in your life, we're going to hold a vision of this is of what you're going to be. And even if you can't see it, we're going to hold it until you can see it and help you to see it. Not enable you, but to help you to get to that greatness.
And sometimes that's what you need, is someone just to pause and be there with you.
That's what we all need sometimes.
Well, we have to pause already. I can't believe it. You aren't going to go anywhere. You're going to stay right here so that you can hear more about Peace Neighborhood Center and a little more from Bonnie Billups. Stay tuned.
Marie, you have pre-diabetes.
Pre-diabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get pre-diabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for pre-diabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Maria, so how's work?
It was fourth period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bella and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and joining me again today is Bonnie Billups from Peace Neighborhood Center in Ann Arbor. And we were talking during the break about, when you work at a place long enough, which is a blessing, you get to see generations of people being served. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably the most wonderful thing. I've been around for a while, and to see people who have overcome all kind of things in their lives, and to now see their children be a part of our programs, because Peace is their home. We call it the Peace Neighborhood Center, but we don't call people clients, we call them a member of the Peace family, right? So as you grow up and you become an adult and you want your kid to experience summer programs or after school programs or any of the other things that we do with kids, your kids then come to our programs, So along with others, so it's a great thing.
And isn't that what neighborhoods need, is that connection piece, right? I mean, I think in today's society, we got people moving and they're not home. And so anything we can do to bind and connect to each other is always a good thing.
Yeah, and it becomes their home. It becomes their tradition. It becomes, this is the place that I went every summer for summer camp, or this is the place that I went to after school, those kind of things. And so it's a part of a family tradition. It's a part of what families do along with others that we serve. And our neighborhood is now all of Washtenaw County.
Wow.
We're on the west side of Ann Arbor, but our programs and services go all throughout Washtenaw County.
Well, we're going to take a look at some of those programs and services now. You're going to walk us through some pictures just to show us what Peace Neighborhood Center is all about. So let's take a look.
Yeah, that's probably, that's kids on their way into the center coming for after school program.
They look excited.
We have a robust after school program that runs, every day. This is, we take an annual picture every summer with all the kids who are on that day at our summer day camp programs, which is really 3 programs: summer day camp for elementary kids, then a leadership development camp for middle school kids, and then our counselors and training program, 9th grade academy. So every year we take this big group photo and it's cool to see kids transition from being in summer day camp to middle school programs, and then later on, some of those kids who are lying in the area are kids who are now in high school or in college.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this is a family trips. We do a lot of what we call family enrichment activities, and so this is at an apple orchard, one of our family trips, a parent and their child.
Oh, that looked wonderful. Again, just that the support to be together, to enjoy each other and get to know each other well. And what's this one? Oh, this looks like fun.
Oh, so this is a group of girls on what we call transformational road trips. We're up at Lake Michigan, and so they were having a spa night up at the house that we had rented by Lake Michigan.
I recognize the cooling cucumber slices on the eyes, Oh,
that's our building, the outside of our main center.
Oh, it looks wonderful. I would love to go in there.
And of course our sign that you saw us take a big picture in front of.
Yeah.
So,
How neat, again, like you mentioned, just so many programs. And this looks like
This is a group of fathers and young men at the Tiger game. Every year we are lucky to be blessed with a gift of a Tiger suite. So we take a group, and so this is fathers and young men on a trip to the Tiger Stadium.
So many programs that you've mentioned. Oh, another shot there.
Yeah, this is, I think, some of our interns or volunteers outside of the sign. We take a lot of pictures outside that
That's
sign.
good. That's a good thing. You got to share that. So again, so many programs that you talked about. You talked about leadership camps, parent, and child programs, trips. Did we miss anything? I'm trying to think. There's a ton of programs here.
Yeah, there's the cool thing about all of our programs is they're what we call wraparound programs and wraparound services that help uplift the whole family, right? So 30 years ago, if you look, we were mainly doing youth programs and a few adult programs. But we found that if we really want to impact the trajectory of a whole family, we had to have programs and services that affected the whole family, right? Programs that allowed parents to work on themselves along with their young people working on themselves. And then we have our college and career prep program. Out of it, we've had kids be first generation, and we've had moms or dads go back to school because their kids have become college students.
Oh, that's
so,
awesome.
All of those kind of things, yeah.
As a first generation kid myself, I thank you for that, because, you know, sometimes parents want to encourage their students to go to college, but they didn't go themselves, so they don't know what to do.
And they don't know the pathway. They don't know the process to even the thing of filling out FAFSA and all of that stuff. But even college visits, we take kids on college visits. We help them move into their dorm for the first year. Our kids who are in our college prep program, sometimes we provide transportation for them home. Because that's an important piece, to be able to come home for the holidays.
That's a huge piece, you know, and working at a college here, you know, I think those kind of supports help students be more confident when they're coming to college. And when you don't have that and you get here and you realize, like, oh my gosh, I feel like people are speaking a different language. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. Just having someone, especially from the neighborhood, who can support you and say, you can do this. I believe in you. I imagine that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's part of that wraparound service, right? To help people find their greatness.
Well, and I have a feeling you might have some of those college grads who may want to come back and support and help the center, I'm hoping.
Exactly. They come back. Some of them work. 2 of our program managers were once 3 of them. 2 of them were once kids in our programs, and both of them have MSWs now.
See, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Pay it forward, give it back, right?
Exactly.
Right? My gosh, we already have to go back to a commercial, so we know you'll stay with us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hear more about Peace Neighborhood Centers. Stay tuned.
Emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you!
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand!
Ah, there you go. Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
Yes, ready. Go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
My name's Reggie. Just recently, my wife and I took in her sister's children. Now, we already had 4, so I went from becoming a family man to a man with a bigger family. Now, you can't eat love, so I don't know how I'm gonna feed them tonight. How was that, Rich?
I think I look more like Denzel.
That's cold, man.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Welcome home, man.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and I'm here with Bonnie Billups, and we've been talking about Peace Neighborhood Center. And I would love to hear about the future of the Neighborhood Center. I know I'm sure you have been with it for a little bit, but I'm sure you have thoughts about the future.
Yeah, we're always growing and looking at how we can serve people better. And we're lucky. I mean, I talked to you about how we started in 1971. Well, a couple years ago, a pastor from one of those same churches called us and said, "Hey, I want you to come. We have a building in Ypsilanti that was once a church, and we want to know if you want it. We want to gift it to you." And we had not had a footprint in Ypsi Township or in Ypsi, but we serve a lot of people in that community. So it's been a great opportunity. We developed this program called the Peace Hub Community Resource Center. We are in the final stages of construction for that facility, and we'll open in November with a footprint, with a program that's a little bit different, taking that same model of wraparound services, but instead of Peace Neighborhood Center doing it all by itself, partnering with other organizations who are already doing great work in Ypsilanti to bring those groups together as a coalition and wrap around neighborhoods and groups of people to help still have that same effect of helping people break cycles of poverty, find their greatness, and move towards self-sufficiency.
I don't know if people watching could feel it, but I could just feel you got really excited when you were talking about this expansion.
Yeah,
like I feel the pride coming through. Tell me what you're feeling about it.
Oh, it's exciting. I'm tired. I believe me. I have enough things on my plate, enough things that we're doing, but this opportunity to move into an area and be able to impact an area in a real capacity and not put Band-Aids on situations is fantastic and what we're excited about.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'm sure it's going to mean a lot to that community too, to just be able to experience that. Anyone who's watching, what can they do to support Peace Neighborhood Center?
Sure, there's lots of ways. You can go to our website, www.peaceneighborhoodcenter.org, and find out more about the things that we're doing. We have, of course, a need for volunteers who work with kids as tutors and in other different capacities. There are sometimes some one-day social type programs or activities that we need volunteers for. Call us, find out about what we're doing. And of course, you can always donate. Money is always necessary for us to do the work that we're doing.
So lots of different ways to plug in and help. And if anybody's got like season tickets, maybe they could throw those your way too, right? For special occasions.
That's
or
true.
To help, just, anything that can be useful.
You're right. That's exactly right.
I imagine you've met, I don't even know how many people now you've met and worked with over the years. Probably thousands when you think about it at this point. Is there any situation or a story maybe that comes to your mind when you think of like, this is what this center has the capability to do or what it means to me?
Because I've been around so long, I run into those situations pretty regularly, right? Where I see somebody and they remind me of what peace means, what Peace Neighborhood Center means and what it's done. I was just at a high school football game about 3 weeks ago, and about, 25 feet away from me is a young man standing. I said, I think I know that young man. And both of us look at each other, and all of a sudden he lights up and he comes running to me and he says, Bonnie. And we start talking. He's now 31, right? He was a kid when he was like 7 at Peace. He's now 31. He has a construction business.
Wow.
And he starts talking about the fact that Peace was the place that he always felt like he was important. He could always get something to eat. People were there who believed in him. He lived in a neighborhood and in a family situation where that wasn't supported all the time. But every day that he got on that van to come to Peace, he knew he was going to be respected and believed in. And he talked about that's what made the difference in his life. So there's thousands and hundreds of people who are part of the Peace family that their lives have been changed because of our belief, their belief in themselves and their efforts to find their greatness, and us just offering a hand up to be able to do that.
Holding up a mirror, if you will, just to say, look, this is what we see. Hopefully you can see that for yourself.
Exactly. No matter if you're a kid, no matter if you're an adult, no matter if you're homeless, no matter if you're dealing with some kind of family trauma, those things are things that we can get past, and we'll help you work through those things.
Did you ever think back when you started on your first day that this would be the trajectory of your life?
No, like I said, I think I moved I moved to Los Angeles to be a musician years ago, and I still do music off and on when I get a chance. That was what I thought. But you listen to where you're supposed to be, and where I'm supposed to be is what I'm doing, and I get up every day excited about what we do, and it makes a difference.
Tell those watching again, how can they find you if they want to have an impact or support in any way? Tell us again.
Sure. Go to our website, peaceneighborhoodcenter.org, and you'll find out more information about what we're doing and those kind of things. Or give us a call, 734-662-3564, and we can send you information.
And tell us again where you're located, the office to go to.
We're located, our main center is in Ann Arbor, on the west side of Ann Arbor on Maple Road.
Bonnie, it has been such a pleasure getting to meet you today and hear more about Peace Neighborhood Centers. I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having us here.
Excellent. And we're so glad you're here to celebrate all the wonderful things that we have in Michigan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.